Hoppin', function, festivity, jamboree, celebration, soiree, bash, bacchanalia, whatever you want to call it. The Twin Cities, maybe, no, the whole state of Minnesota is ready to party like it's 2004. Maybe I should say 2024 as your Minnesota Timberwolves look to punch their ticket to their second straight Western Conference Finals with a win over the Warriors tonight. Warriors Game 5 is going down in just about an hour and a half. And as always, you can hear every bit of action right here on KFAN or on the free iHeartRadio app. And you don't even need a radio to hear everybody and they mama all across the land of 10,000 lakes chanting, Wolves in 5, Wolves in 5. Wolves in 5. Wolves in 5 is still alive. We love our Wolves, and we're hungry like one. The people of the Twin Cities haven't seen a series-clinching playoff win here at the Target Center in over 20 years. And listen, I ain't the Beatles. I ain't the Black Eyed Peas, but I got a feeling the people are going to get exactly what they want tonight. But that's 8:30. This is now, and you're locked in with Howlin with the homies, the pregame party, Fox and the Fro, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you know it's presented by Youngstedts, the auto service masters. Book your service appointment today at youngstedts.com, and we're here hanging out with you. Thanks to Youngstedts till 8 p.m., lifting your spirits to Liddy levels and getting you ready for Game 5. I am the aforementioned Afro, a.k.a. Max Fuller, a.k.a. Derek Froze, a.k.a. a million other things. And I'm joined by the man who puts the P in PhD. He is Minnesota men's basketball superstar, Dr. Parker Fox the Fifth. How you feeling, Parker?
Maxo, it's a full moon tonight.
Woo!
And the Wolves
It ain't
are
no
out.
coincidence, baby.
They're ready to howl, baby. Oh, my goodness, man. I'm juiced up. An awesome opportunity, like you mentioned on this intro. 21 years since the Minnesota Timberwolves have closed out a home playoff series on their home court here, defeating the Suns in 2004. Shout out to our guy, KG. Man, I am absolutely juiced up for tonight. You can feel the energy coming through the building. We already have a clear concourse out here. People are already in the game. They're hopefully putting on their T-shirts and getting fired up for Wolves in 5. We have a lot to talk about, Max. So we're specifically going to feature how tough it is to beat a team 4 times in a row, but also the importance of this game tonight with the possibility of seeing Steph Curry in the future of this series if we're not able to close it out tonight. But you and me are pretty confident going into this one tonight. We are super fired up. We're energetic, and we hope these Minnesota Timberwolves are feeling the same energy that you, me, and all of our beautiful listeners on KFAN are feeling tonight, man.
And I know everybody's got goosebumps out there, and you're just like me, Parker. You woke up this morning like it was Christmas, I bet, because we're just so excited for another chance to watch our Minnesota Timberwolves in action right here at the Target Center. Target Center's become almost like a second home to us with doing all these broadcasts here. And speaking of homes, we all know the Fan is the home of the Wolves, the home of the Wild, the home of the Gophers, and last and never, ever, ever least, the home of the Minnesota Vikings. And speaking of Christmas, for NFL fans, it certainly is like Christmas Day because the NFL just released their full slate of 2025 games for the regular season and preseason. And I know this is Howlin with the homies / the pregame party / Fox and the Fro / whatever you want to call it, Parker. But the Vikings is always a big deal here in town. And we got until 8 o'clock to talk about the Timberwolves. I say we go, hey, Wolves in 5. Wolves in 5.
Jeff Munich in the house.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Jeff Munich,
the myth, the legend,
the GOAT. Like I was saying, Parker, but the Vikings are always a big deal. We got plenty of time to talk about the Wolves. How about you say, why don't we go through this Vikings schedule game by game? And listen, I don't even need to go through the schedule. I'm going to just say it's 17-0, but we might as well go through the schedule. It's big things for the Vikings this season. You got people like Kay Adams, respected NFL mind. She said the other day she thinks the Minnesota Vikings can win the Super Bowl, Parker.
Yeah, a couple to highlight before we kind of go on through this schedule. The one that gets me super excited is this Detroit Lions game on Christmas Day. That's going to be a 3:30 kick on Netflix.
Oh, dang.
So Christmas Day, make sure your Netflix subscription is tuned up and
ready to go. It's my birthday, too. They better get a dub for you, boy.
There you go. Or make sure you are in the building building as Jeff Munichie shows
Jeff
us his
Munichie's
logo
flexing
shoe.
the Wolves
I
kicks
love
right
it. I
now.
love
He
it,
had to
baby.
come back around and stunt for the people with the Wolves socks. We appreciate you, Jeff.
I love that. But like I was saying, man, an awesome opportunity. Families getting together and getting their butts in seats at U.S. Bank Stadium on Christmas Day. That's going to be an awesome opportunity to face a really powerful Detroit Lions team.
Yeah.
In a very key part of the season, Week 17, preparing yourself for playoffs, hopefully, against an NFC North foe.
That could be a
in Detroit.
huge game.
That could be a huge game. And
It seems like almost every year since they started doing this Week 17, divisional rivalry thing, it always comes down to Week 17 in one way or
Especially
another.
in the NFC North, right?
Right.
There's so much talent in that division, and what a better opportunity to face a powerhouse like Detroit in that situation. And then another one I want to feature is the awesome opportunity to go overseas. And first time in NFL history going back-to-back overseas game. You and I were talking off the air about how awesome it would be to have, a fellas trip overseas,
right?
And hit Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and
that's your squad, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's my squad, and Brett Blakemore is cheering it from the back. But yeah, how awesome would that be to go?
So
play
much fun,
the
man.
Pittsburgh Steelers in Dublin, and then a week. Fast forward, you play the Cleveland Browns in London. So those two games are set, man, back to back. Brian O'Neill was on the Power Trip Morning Show last Friday talking about that possibility and how the Minnesota Vikings just do everything first class when it comes to their leadership and the way they travel. So expect the Vikings to be tuned up and ready to go. That's week 4 and week 5 in Dublin.
Right off the road,
8:30 in the morning. So you better set your alarms and get up. And then October 5th against the Cleveland Browns in London at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, also 8:30 a.m.
Wake and bake with the Minnesota Vikings. Start your day off right with the Vikings dub. But let's start at week 1, Parker. Vikings against the Chicago Bears in Chicago, prime time, 7:15 p.m. on ESPN. And, of course, you can hear every bit of action right here on KFN. Just starting off with a divisional rivalry game. And we don't really know.
Man.
I mean, that Bears team, they're completely up in the air this year.
It's going to be a new look Bears team. Yes, you still have the guy, under center.
Right.
You're going to have a new coach there.
Right.
You're going to have Ben Johnson coming in as the head coach of the Bears.
They kind of revamped their line a little bit as well.
They did a bunch of stuff. I think that was their main focus, that offensive line for the Chicago Bears and Ben Johnson's offense. But that's going to be an awesome opportunity to play an NFC North rival week 1 and really set the tone for what your Vikings season is going to look like, Maxo. And then after that, we come back home for 2 with the Atlanta Falcons and a possibility of Kirk Cousins. Maybe not.
That's still a fluid situation, but it doesn't look like it, but you never know. Crazy things happen in the NFL all the time.
That's right. And that's going to be a night game. That's going to be a Sunday night game, 7:20 kickoff.
Oh,
on
dang.
NBC.
They got your boys in prime time right off the rip. Everybody wants to see some Minnesota Vikings action in the country.
First 2, a nationally televised game. Game 3, we're going to see Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to see Joe Burrow come into U.S. Bank Stadium.
That'll be a lot of fun,
That's a
man.
noon game, Maxo. That's a noon game. And
it's a good time to catch the Cincinnati Bengals because for the last 2-3 years, they've been really slow starters. As good as Joe Burrow has been and as good as we know him to be, they've been really slow starters at the beginning of these seasons. So week 3 is a perfect time to catch a really good Cincinnati Bengals team that somehow, some way found all the money to keep all the guys, it seems like.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Make sure you get your tickets for that one or listen right here on The Fan. And like we mentioned, weeks 4 and weeks 5 are going to be overseas. And then we're going to get a much-needed bye week 6 after that, being overseas for a couple of weeks.
A little European excursion for about 2 weeks. And I'm sure we'll have all types of different coverage, all types of people over in jolly old Big Julius Randle walking by. He's been unstoppable lately.
He had a little cup of pineapple. Hopefully that gives him a little
maybe that's his secret sauce lately. Who knows?
Who knows? But like that bye, that's going to be important not only for the travel, but then we have the Eagles coming to town the week after. That's going to be a noon kickoff on Fox before we head to L.A. You're going to see the Vikings in L.A. prime time on Thursday night football versus the Los Angeles Chargers.
A really good Chargers team that's been up and down over the last couple of years, but it seems like they're finally starting to reach the potential that we've all envisioned for them over the last couple of years.
Yeah, well-coached team.
Yeah.
A team that we lost to. I think it was a Thursday night game this past year too. But a tough team to face anytime you are playing in Los Angeles. And that road trip will continue as the Vikings will head to Detroit for a noon
Motor
kickoff
City
on
Kitties.
Fox. That one, that's going to set the table for what the NFC North is really looking like.
For sure,
middle
man.
of the season there on week 9.
And you could only expect this Lions team to come back even more locked and loaded,
No
man.
doubt.
They were locked in all season last year.
A specific guy that you can, look to come back is Aiden Hutchinson coming back from that injury.
He's going to be on a revenge tour.
Brutal leg injury. I've seen some videos of him moving around, being explosive. I think he's going to be ready and rearing to go, against this Minnesota Vikings.
Good thing the Vikings got that revamped offensive line, because JJ's going to need all the help he can get. Hootie hoo! Shout out to the people out screaming at us out in the cage.
That's
but he's going to need all the help he can get stopping that ferocious Lions
Certainly,
line.
no doubt about it. Then the Vikings will come home in week 10 to face the MVP, Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore
two-time MVP.
Ravens.
Almost 3 times.
Yeah, he should have.
He probably should have won it.
Right? Then we'll have another home one against the Chicago Bears.
Man.
That's another noon kickoff.
This is a tough schedule so far.
Schedule.
Eagles, Ravens, Bengals. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you do well the previous season. But, man, this is a really tough schedule so far.
Well, it only gets tougher, Max. We go to Green Bay after that
Ooh.
in week 12, and then we go to Seattle in week 13. So 2 tough road games before we come back, and we get to see maybe future MVP and Jaden Daniels,
right?
of the Washington Commanders.
For sure, man.
Week
He was
14.
borderline already rookie season.
Exactly. That's going to be a tough one, and it doesn't get easier. Going to Dallas week 15.
Oh, man.
Before traveling to what we think should be a win, but a new quarterback under center, week 16 at New York Giants.
Yeah.
And like we had mentioned, the season finishes off with 2 tough ones at home against the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. Max,
Oh, man.
this is a tough
This is a
schedule.
really tough schedule. Like, as a fan of the NFL, almost all of these matchups are must-see TV. They're going to be incredibly exciting. But as a fan of the Vikings, I'm gnashing the teeth a little bit, chattering the nails a little bit. That's a real spooky schedule, Parker.
It is, but I think there is some favorable home games. You have the opportunity to play a team like the Baltimore Ravens at home.
Right.
You have an opportunity to play the Washington Commanders, Bengals, and Eagles. So some really tough teams, some really tough road environments that you get to play at US Bank Stadium. As of right now, 7 nationally televised games. I expect that to even be higher as the Vikings roll throughout the season. But like we said, a tough schedule and a really tough finish playing Detroit at home and the Green Bay Packers at home. But you and me are also super juiced up to see what this Vikings team has in store and to see what our guy, JJ, has underneath center. What are you kind of expecting from JJ heading into this season?
Well, I have nothing but confidence in JJ, because it seems like everyone that is around him in that organization has done nothing but speak highly of him. I mean, the Vikings did everything but just outright say we're all in on JJ. They didn't really entertain the Aaron Rodgers mess. I mean, barely even got a backup quarterback for the longest time, because they have that much faith in JJ. And it even started to come out, it seemed like last year, that they were starting to, even as good as Darnold was, before the injury, there was a question whether JJ would have taken the reins as the starter from week 1. So I have nothing but faith in JJ. Justin Jefferson himself, all the wide receiver core, Aaron Jones, I think, spoke about him recently. Everybody just talks about how mature he is, how prepared he has been mentally, how hard he's been working to get back physically, and it sounds like everything is all good physically, A-okay. So I can't wait till he throws that first perfect spiral in training camp, and we can start making Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes comparisons, because we're psychopaths and we're really excited about our Vikings team. But I'm expecting nothing but greatness from JJ. It's a tall task, especially when you're coming into a team that, had a lot of success last season and only only got better on paper. So I'm expecting a lot from JJ. It's a really tough schedule. It's a really tough position to throw him in his first real year playing. But man, it's sink or swim. And I think my boy's going to look like Michael Phelps. I should say Malcolm Phelps. Hell yeah. Malcolm X and Michael Phelps combined, baby. Let's go.
Like that. Yes, man. I'm so excited about JJ. But the thing I'm really excited about is what we're going to do within the trenches, right?
Yeah.
Shearing up that offensive line, getting more size up there, and then really running the football. Last year, we saw Aaron Jones really take a load of that running. We're going to see that again this year, but we can 1-2 punch it with Jordan Mason in the backfield.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about
underrated signing. We made a lot of good signings on the defensive line, on the offensive line, but man, people forget that Jordan Mason, we saw it here personally. He tore us up when we played the 49ers, man. He's a really good player.
Physical runner, gets downhill, knows the game well, sees the field, looks into the secondary, tries to get upfield for extra yards. He is a guy that you can't just have one guy try to tackle him. It's a gang tackling when you're tackling a guy like that, because if you bring one guy, he's going to shoulder shrug you off.
Right.
You need several guys to tackle a guy like Jordan Mason coming out of the backfield. That's our Vikings bet, man. That's what we have. We're pretty juiced up about that.
We're locked and loaded, baby.
Juiced up about what's going down tonight, Max.
And Game 5 is going down tonight right here at the Target Center. Wolves, Warriors. Wolves looking to make a second date in the Western Conference Finals for the second straight year. We'll break that game down from every which way possible. It's Max Fuller and Parker Fox hanging out with you until 8 p.m. This is Howlin with the Homies, a.k.a. the pregame party, a.k.a. Fox in the Fro, a.k.a. a million other things presented by Youngstedts. And we'll be right back after this.
He got it again! Anthony Edwards cannot be stopped. Ants threes are raining. Steph's still not playing.
Nope.
Draymond keeps complaining. Wolves in 5. The audio home of the Timberwolves is KFAN.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Calling all Costco members and deal lovers. Ready to elevate your odor fighting game? Find Old Spice Swagger deodorant at Costco and unleash 24/7 freshness when used daily. Old Spice Swagger isn't just any deodorant, it's the #1 aluminum-free deodorant brand, providing long-lasting scent and 24/7 odor protection when used daily. You'll smell so good, you might just attract a fan club. Don't wait! Grab your 4-pack of Swagger deodorant at Costco now, because freshness is mandatory.
John Kriesel, fellow veteran here. Are you a current or former U.S. military member or spouse? Unlock your potential at the 19th Annual Veterans Career Fair. Join us on May 21st from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Heritage Center of Brooklyn Center. Meet over 100 employers eager to value your military experience. No cost or registration required. Dress for success and bring your resume. The Veterans Career Fair, May 21 in Brooklyn Center. View participating employers at careerforcemn.com. That's careerforcemn.com.
Repeat after me. I am not a victim. Come on, you can do it. I am not a victim. Let these 5 simple words re-empower you when storm damage means it's time for a new roof, siding, or deck. And go to allaround.com. Don't form a self-help group. Sign up for bunny yoga or choke down a bunch of kale. Simply go to allaround.com for a fast, fair, free estimate. Let the experts at All Around work with your insurance company to restore your home to its former glory. Pull yourself together. You won't be told what's best for you another minute. You won't be bullied by the false claims and shoddy workmanship of the other guys. Stand up, unless you're driving. Oh, what the heck. Stand up anyway and declare for the world, I'm going to allaround.com. And if you don't like it, go unfriend yourself. Get started today at allaround.com.
All around. We get it done and we do it right.
Sidewalks, driveways, patios, steps, and garage floors. If it's sunken, Level can raise it up. It's simple, clean, and fast. And lifting costs just a fraction of what you would pay for full concrete replacement. Visit levelmn.com. That's levelmn.com.
Youngstedts treats their customers like family. That's because they're a locally family-owned and operated auto repair service that's been serving customers in the West Metro for 54 years. Whether you need tires, expert auto repair service, or collision repair, you can trust Youngstedts to keep you you safe on the road. And they can help keep your car clean all year round with a monthly unlimited car wash membership, which pays for itself after just 2 washes. Youngstedts is your one-stop shop for complete auto repair service, tires, car wash, and auto body collision repair. Visit youngstedts.com for locations, coupons, and more.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
Hoping to close out the Warriors in 5. The Wolves return home tonight with a chance to advance. Tip-off shortly after 8:30 on the audio home of the Wolves, KFAN. Presented locally by TimberTech.
Welcome back to the pregame party, a.k.a. Howlin with the homies, presented by Youngstedt. Max Fuller alongside Parker Fox here down at the Target Center ahead of Wolves-Warriors Game 5. A little over an hour away from tip-off. Don't forget, you can listen to all of the action right here on FM 100.3, I should say, KFAN. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us today, getting hopped up on hype for this Wolves-Warriors Game 5 and Game 4. I mean, for a little bit there, it was a back and forth game, but the Wolves really took control there in that third quarter. And kind of, I think I read a stat earlier today that said something like the Wolves have really only won a handful of quarters throughout this series, but the quarters they've won have just been dominant. That it's been enough to propel them, obviously, to 3 straight wins now.
Yeah, we saw the greatest version of Anthony Edwards in that third quarter of Game 4. We saw what we're used to seeing from Anthony Edwards, that, hey, I don't care what's going on in the building. I'm ready to take over and be the man. I think it was just awesome the way to see his kind of confidence kind of, almost bloom in that third quarter. And, shots started to fall. And when he starts to fall and things start to go well for Ant, it seemingly seems to go well for the rest of this Minnesota Timberwolves roster. Shots were falling in that third quarter, and they just dug themselves in a big hole, the Warriors, that is, and they just couldn't crawl their way out in the fourth, although they played well throughout that game, especially in the fourth quarter, trying to nibble and crawl back into that game, but it just wasn't enough as the Minnesota Timberwolves defense really buttoned down the hatches on defense and closed out Game 4 to lead 3-1 in this best-of-7 series.
And Anthony Edwards has obviously been phenomenal. He's the straw that stirs the drink, as the old people would say. But Julius Randle, I mean, if you had to pick an MVP, you'd have to almost do a Mean Girls situation and break the crown into multiple pieces, because Julius Randle, I mean, and he's been getting his flowers, and he deserves every one of them, the daisies, the roses, the tulips, all of it, because he's just been absolutely incredible. And he had another monster game just the other day. And he seems like he's unstoppable right now offensively, Parker. I mean, it's just every shot is going in for him. His confidence is out of this world. I mean, as a player, do you remember, what is a specific time in your career do you remember just being on an absolute insane heater over multiple games?
Yeah, I've had a couple in my life, and sometimes it's scoring, right? And sometimes it's just like everything is kind of going your way. And scoring is great, Maxo. As we mentioned, Julius Randle coming off a 31-point performance in Game 4. But the game is more than just scoring, and that's something that I've really seen from Julius. He's really just, showing his leadership, and like you said, it's obviously super important, right, to be scoring the basketball. If you're a guy like Julius, kind of being that Robin to the said Batman for Anthony Edwards. But I don't think that Julius is really caring too much about the scoring. No. He's obviously doing a great job this postseason. Julius is averaging 23.3 points per game and providing a significant boost to Minnesota's offense. But for me, it's his leadership and what he's been doing on the sideline, what he does when the whistle is blowing, and
the
everything.
Tone setting, as we've talked about
everything that
times
Julius
now.
has provided in this series has been instrumental. And I think he's a mismatch nightmare for their defense because Draymond isn't able to guard him at all times. They have to go with different guys on him, which creates mismatches, and Julius is completely exposing those mismatches. And for me, the greatest thing I've seen is just the shot selection. He's been taking great shots. He's been letting the offense come to him, and he's been knocking those great shots down.
It's like he's not forcing any of this offense. It's like you said, it's just coming to him naturally, and he seems like he's making the right play almost every single time. And because he's been on fire so much offensively, it's just creating space not only for Anthony Edwards but for pretty much everyone on the floor. Like we talked about the other day, he just raises the ceiling of all the other guys on the floor when he's out there.
He certainly does, and that's why he's here, right? Like, they didn't go out during this trade and try to find another superstar to match Anthony Edwards.
Right.
They tried to find a guy that's going to help bring Anthony Edwards to where he can go and where this Timberwolves team can go. And what better can you find on a trading block than a guy like Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo? The toughness, the energy, the excitement, the passion for the game that they provide is shown every single night, and it's going to be the thing that propels this Timberwolves to another Western Conference Finals.
And they're just one win away from the Western Conference Finals for the second straight year. But if everyone remembers, which we, of course, how could you forget? But last year, both of their series wins were both on the road. So we haven't seen a playoff series clinching win here at the Target Center in over 20 years, Parker. I mean, this is just gonna this is the roof in this place. The energy is just gonna be unmatched. It might we keep saying that the fans keep taking it to another level. I'm expecting tonight to be the loudest and the hypest I've ever seen the Target Center.
I certainly do too, and I hope we have a wide array of fans, young and old, listening to us today. But some of the younger ones won't remember that 2004 sweep over the Phoenix Suns right here at Target Center. Kevin Garnett, the big ticket, stapling that thing. Man, it's been a long time.
It's been a while, man.
And we're itching for it, man. You can tell the fans that are walking into the building tonight as we see them go through the lines here. People are excited, man. There's a good energy. It's a balmy 81 degrees outside. It's cool, nice and air conditioned in here in this studio, Max. But I think people are fired up to see what this Timberwolves team has in store tonight and the ability to close it off on home court, because I think it is super imperative that they close it out tonight. You do not want to give this Warriors team anything. You don't want to give them any fuel. And it's hard to win a game 4 times in a row. Don't get me wrong. It's very difficult. But this Warriors team doesn't have the talent or the depth to stack up with the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have to show that from the jump tonight. They have to jump on them early and take care of business, because you don't want to go back to San Francisco.
No.
You don't want to go back to the Chase Center and have a possible Steph Curry emergence in Game 5 and or Game 6 coming back here. Game 6, sorry, going to San Francisco, the Chase Center. You want to finish things tonight, and I think having a good start, having a jump on the ball early is important for this Minnesota Timberwolves team.
100%. And it came out earlier today that obviously Steph Curry was ruled out of Game 5 yesterday. And ever since the injury happened, everybody always thought that Game 5 comeback was a long shot, right? This is a hamstring issue. He's not going to rush himself back. It's something he's never really dealt with before, so he doesn't really know how his body's going to respond to it. But it came out earlier today that he has been cleared for a little bit more strenuous workouts, and it does appear that if it goes to Game 6, that Steph Curry, which we've all been predicting ever since this injury happened, is going to try his absolute damnness to come back in Game 6. So like you said, you just got to close the door. And I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker even said it after Game 4 the other day, that we have to understand the moment. That, the Wolves are not oblivious to this. Everybody, I think Anthony Edwards said it to Gary Payton. They caught him on the mic. He said, "We know y'all waiting for Wardell," which is Steph Curry's real actual first name. He said, "We know y'all waiting for Wardell," and everybody knows it. So the Wolves have to smell the blood in the water, and they got to pounce, and they got to understand the moment, like Nickeil said.
That's right, man. Steph Curry, obviously, like you mentioned, he remains sidelined with that left hamstring strain. Soft tissue issues are never easy, but the fact that he's back kind of working out, getting his body ready, it's a little nerve-wracking if you're a Wolves fan. But the beauty of it is he's not playing tonight, so it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Take care of business tonight. Make it important. Don't come out tonight saying, "Oh, we're up 3-1."
Yes, sir!
There you go, John B. with the white out.
John B. with the white suit, looking like an angel descending from the clouds. And speaking of angels, there's Mark Rosen, as his closest friends and family call him. We appreciate you. You want to come in, Rose?
Come on, Rosie.
Yeah, come hang with the homies, Rosie.
I can't do it.
How you feeling ahead of Game 5, Rose?
Oh, man, I'm super confident. I mean, I think these guys know it's the last thing they want to do is get on a plane and go to San Francisco. It just, it just feels like they want to put the finishing touches on them tonight. I don't know what Golden State and Steve Kerr, as good as he is, can do to counteract what the Wolves are doing right now. They can't morph. Klay Thompson back in his prime.
That's right.
Obviously, Steph's
Chris
out.
Mullin ain't coming back.
Chris Mullin.
Yeah.
And there's limitations, and he's aware of that. And as long as the Wolves don't get sloppy and just play their game, they should walk out of here getting a couple days rest and getting ready for the winter OKC and Denver.
And they got a little sloppy in that fourth quarter in the last game. And obviously, they were up by so much that you can't really complain about it. But the fourth quarters, and specifically the second half in general, the Wolves have shown a lot of emotional maturity throughout this playoff run, Rose.
Well, they are. And I think that's a great way of saying it, emotional maturity. And we were here a year ago, and I think they learned a lot of lessons from that. And they also learned that they got themselves into a long series with Denver, and they had nothing left in the tank for Dallas. And I think that's another reason why I'm sure Chris Finch's message is, hey, boys, let's finish this thing tonight. Remember, not like a year ago was a year ago, but, I mean, I watched the OKC, I'm sure you guys did too last night. You could see those guys, and Parker as a former player, and they were on fumes. Even Joker, oh my God, you get flat foot. I mean, you just lose your spring a little bit, right?
Yeah, you do, and we've seen it throughout this series, right? Like we saw an older LeBron in the first series get tired, and we've seen this Warriors team even get a little tired as well. And you're right, Rose, and I think it's so important tonight to really just jump on them early. Yeah. I have a question for you as well.
Sure.
What makes this place so exciting tonight? Like why do we need and we've talked about it, right? It hasn't been 21 years since they've won a home series.
I was just walking in talking to our friend Jeff Munich, and I just remember being my son who lives in L.A. right now was 18 at the time.
Yeah,
and I shared that experience with him, and I remember going to covering all those series, and then finishing up here. And it's just a special feeling. When KG did it in 2004, and it's been that long.
Wow.
So when people go, well, if you're a fan, you better embrace this. There's no guarantee. I don't care how good you are or what kind of what Anthony Edwards turns into be, that you can get back to this point again. Look what's going on already. Mm-hmm. I mean, injuries, upsets. The Cleveland Cavaliers happened to them. Winning 60-some games. There's zero guarantee you're going to get back here again. So enjoy the season, as Mike Tice said. Enjoy the postseason, and I think that's exactly the thing. You have to relish this because you just don't know when it's going to come up again.
Yeah, and the Wolves are looking to hopefully enjoy some rest after this one tonight. And we talked about it, the importance, and actually Chris Finch mentioned it as well, how important it is to really jump on these guys early and not give them a chance, because the possibility of a guy like Steph Curry possibly coming back, we don't want to see that. No. Regardless of what you think and how much better I believe this Wolves team is and this Warriors team, you don't want to face a guy like Steph Curry.
Well, the emotional boost he would give his teammates just by his presence on the court, even if he's not 100%. If he can, get through a half a game, or just suit up, that would make a big difference. But that's why you want to send him home, send Jimmy Butler to Cancun, and
that's right,
and let him go away.
I love it.
All right, guys, love you.
Appreciate you, Rose.
The legendary man, the legendary
Mark Rosen, broadcast Hall of Famer, elite basketball mind. All takes his own. Don't listen to the rumors. He's not stealing takes out there, y'all. That's all from the elite basketball mind of Mark Rosen. And we'll hear more from the elite basketball mind of Parker Fox, as we got one more segment to go. Howlin with the homies, a.k.a. the pregame party, taking you up to 8 o'clock. We'll be right back. Don't move a muscle.
This is The Fan. The Fan.
Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Youngstedts treats their customers like family. That's because they're a locally family-owned and operated auto repair service that's been serving customers in the West Metro for 54 years. Whether you need tires, expert auto repair service, or collision repair, you can trust Youngstedts to keep you safe on the road. And they can help keep your car clean all year round with a monthly unlimited car wash membership, which pays for itself after just 2 washes. Youngstedts is your one-stop shop for complete auto repair service, tires, car wash, and auto body collision and repair. Visit Youngstedts.com for locations, coupons, and more.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular show of all time, Grease. You'll hear all your favorite hits from the Broadway musical and the movie. Join the whole gang at Rydell High. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll bring you back to high school life in the 50s. Poodle skirts, bobby socks, the soda shop, and drive-in movies. Grease, it'll rock your socks off. Order your tickets today. Visit chanhassendt.com.
John Kriesel, fellow veteran here. Are you a current or former U.S. military member or spouse? Unlock your potential at the 19th Annual Veterans Career Fair. Join us on May 21st from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Heritage Center of Brooklyn Center. Meet over 100 employers eager to value your military experience. No cost or registration required. Dress for success and bring your resume. The Veterans Career Fair, May 21 in Brooklyn Center. View participating employers at careerforcemn.com. That's careerforcemn.com.
Plugging you into safety, service, and innovation. Edison Electric has been serving the Minneapolis and St. Paul area since 2007 and specializes in residential service, meaning they help you with all your home's electrical needs from troubleshooting to panel replacements. They leave your home safer than when they arrived and provide 5-star service every time. Go to calledison.com for upfront pricing on all residential electrical services in Minneapolis. That's calledison.com or call 612-777-WIRE. Experience the Edison difference.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Hey, Meat Sauce here for my friends at Elm Creek Brewing to tell you about Secret Sauce, the new THC pink lemonade drink. It's the absolute best. Head to the Elm Creek Brewing tap room today. Get 15% off your purchase when you mention Meat Sauce. Ask for the Secret Sauce by Elm Creek Brewing today. It wails.
The Peace Lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, now we should talk about the siding and window guys.
Okay, the guy from Blindside Siding seemed legit.
Uh-huh, until he said,
"We take 100% right up front. But don't worry, we'll be back."
Well, yeah. Oh, and I hated the guy from One Window Wonder.
Ah, you mean the one who said,
"Wait, you don't have any cameras, do you?"
Hey, it's Charles Thayer here with All Around. What you choose to put on your house is important, but who you choose to do the work is critical. Don't make impulsive decisions about your windows and siding. All Around installers are master level LP SmartSide and Anderson Windows certified. For factory certified installations with the best warranties available, go to allaround.com to set up a consultation. We can even help you with financing.
the tan guy seemed experienced.
He wasn't wearing a shirt.
He wasn't?
All around, we get it done, we do it right.
Hoping to close out the Warriors in 5. The Wolves return home tonight with a chance to advance. Tip-off shortly after 8:30 on the audio home of the Wolves, KFAN. Presented locally by TimberTech.
In 5 is still alive, and everybody at the Target Center is expecting a celebration tonight as the Wolves face off against the Golden State Warriors. Game 5, just about an hour away from tip-off, but me and Parker Fox, Dr. Parker Fox the 5th, hanging out with you until 8 p.m. before we pass it off to Cal Soderquist, Al Horton, and the rest of the Wolves Radio Network crew. I'm not going gonna lie, it's got nothing to do with the Wolves. But this dude just walked by with a big old afro, and I'm kind of jealous, bro. I'm kind of having afro envy, you know. Now I feel small. It's cold out.
We got to figure out a headset for you that doesn't penetrate the afro.
Right.
I don't know how that
always
works.
Messes it up. There's
Maybe
always
it
like a
wraps
big old
underneath, or maybe we get you some sort of
AirPods or
something. But
it's always messing up the.
You always
flow.
have the pick though, so
I'm always ready.
You're always ready.
I'm always ready.
Just like this Wolves team
is
ready tonight. The Wolves are defending without fouling. They're controlling the glass. They're playing classic playoff basketball. They've held the Warriors to under 100 points in 2 of the last 3 games, which is unheard of.
It's nuts against
for
the Warriors
Steve
team like
Kerr
this.
team. Max, what has kind of been your focal point that you've seen from this Wolves team defensively? Is it something that the Warriors aren't doing offensively, or are you giving the Wolves defense a lot of credit in this situation?
I'm giving the Wolves defense a lot of credit in this situation because it's not just if it was just 1 or 2 guys having a hard series. You could say maybe it's something else, but this Wolves defense, it's Jimmy Butler's having a tough series. I mean, he couldn't do a damn thing. I know he said he was sick last game, but he couldn't do a damn thing against Jay. Yeah, exactly. Cough, cough. Sick like when you stay home and watch Judge Judy instead of going
all day long.
Right.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Right. Maury, Tyra Banks show. I'm not taking the biology test. And that is not what we're going to be hearing. Ant is the father of the Golden State Warriors.
He's the father of a lot of things. He certainly is. We've seen that.
He is certainly
Send the video.
is. But I'm giving all the credit to this Wolves defense, man. This Warriors team has not been able to do. I mean, look at how bad Padinsky's been, which sounds like a terrible podcast network. He's been brutal,
terrible
this series. Draymond Green, outside of randomly turning into Klay Thompson in Game 1, hasn't really been able to do anything. Jonathan Kuminga's really been their only consistent source of offense. I think Jaden McDaniels has been doing an incredible job out there on the wings. Obviously, we've highlighted Julius Randle and the physicality that he's been bringing to defense. Dante DiVincenzo, we've mentioned it several times. He's had a tough stretch here offensively, but he's always a big time contributor defensively. So I'm giving all the credit to the Wolves. And then Rudy Gobert holding it down in the paint because the Warriors, this is a team that does not have 3-point shooting prowess. So Rudy Gobert's stout defense in the paint becomes that much more prevalent and that much more important. And he has not been giving up ground in that paint. This Warriors team just has not been able to score consistently on the Wolves. So I'm giving all the credit to the Wolves, especially because we've mentioned it. All the different drawn-up plays that this Warriors team had, all the different motion, but it seems like every time they motion somewhere, there's a Wolf there to meet them. There's Jaden McDaniels right there on the wing, right in your face. There's Anthony Edwards right on your hip. There's no motions that they can do to get these wide-open shots. It seems like, and it's a story we've seen on the other end here a lot, where the Warriors are fighting tooth and nail to get every single bucket that they get, and it seems like the Wolves just kind of, la-di-da, okay, yeah, I'll shoot a 3, pull up, boom, and then the Warriors are taking it down 20 seconds off the shot clock every single time, just trying to find a smidgen of an opening. So I think this Wolves defense has just been even more ferocious than we saw it against the LA Lakers in round 1. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, you highlighted it. I think a guy that causes me a little bit of nerves is Jonathan Kuminga. He's averaging 27 points per game over his last 2, scoring the ball at an extremely high clip. He's not the type of guy that's really going to be out on the perimeter, hacking up a bunch of threes, living and dying by the 3. He's doing something that I think if you're the Warriors team, they need to do more of. They need to drive the paint. They need to find ways to score inside. The Wolves have been dominating the points in the paint battle.
Yeah.
It's been too easy for this Wolves team in the paint. They've been plus 20 in some games in the paint. It's just you can't win playoff basketball games without getting a little grimy, a little dirty, and driving it inside. And Jonathan Kuminga has been the guy for the Warriors to do that. So I expect to see some more defensive talent on Kuminga tonight. I expect to see guys like Jaden McDaniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, maybe even a sightseeing of Jalen Clark, who I ran into downstairs. I think you need to focus on Jonathan Kuminga scoring the basketball if you're the Timberwolves defense tonight.
And it sounds kind of crazy. Imagine going back in time a couple of years ago and telling somebody the strategy to beat the Warriors is to make them shoot threes. They'd be like, what timeline are you from?
It's like that Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. They're going forward and back in time. They're like, they don't shoot threes anymore. Like, yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure, bud.
Now, they do still shoot threes, but they just haven't been making them.
No.
And one of the guys that really hasn't been making them is Brandon Pajemski.
He's been brutal. And I don't watch Warriors basketball every night in, night out, but it's like, how is this guy in the starting? It's not just rough. He's almost shooting them out of position sometimes.
Astronomically bad shooting performance from Brandon Podziemski, not only this series, but highlighting in Game 4. He was 3 for 14 from the field,
Yikes.
0 for 4 from 3 for 11 points.
I mean, if they could even get a little bit from them, they'd pose more of a threat, but they're getting nothing.
Nothing, and it's favoring the way the Timberwolves want to play. When they're not making shots, which they have to do to win, they have to go inside amongst the trees that is Rudy Gobert, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Naz Reid, Julius Randle, those big bodies inside, and it's not going well for this Warriors team right now. So I expect them to continue to play the way they want to play, which is shooting the three. They have to hope they start going in, and if you're the Timberwolves, you have to try to make it difficult. You can't let the Warriors get hot early. You can't let them get confidence going into this Game 5 tonight. You have to shut off their water early and stay on them because you don't want to play another game in San Francisco.
And Parker, you mentioned all the different names and all the different awesome defenders that the Warriors are going to have to go through to get into the paint. Do you think that's playing a role or a factor into why all these teams are so depleted? I mean, between the Lakers, and granted, the Lakers have Luka Doncic and LeBron James, who's 40 years old, and Luka Doncic is obviously not the picture of fitness or anything like that. But this Warriors team is this is a team that's used to running up, and they probably run and log more miles than any team in the NBA, and they're even looking gassed in these third and fourth quarters. Do you think that physicality inside and that physicality from the Wolves defenders is playing a huge role in that?
Rudy Gobert is doing exactly what he was brought to Minnesota to do. Protect the paint, alter shots, and shut down driving lanes. He's averaging 2 blocks per game in this series, but the real impact goes beyond the stat sheet. He's changing how the Warriors attack. You watch the Warriors players get downhill, get into the paint, and sometimes they'll just veer off because they see Rudy Gobert standing there in the paint. Golden State is shooting just 41% in the paint.
Wow.
That is an extremely low stat. Only when Gobert is in the game. So when Rudy's in the game, the Warriors are not only not shooting in the paint, but they're shooting at a below 50% clip. He's basically forcing them into tough floaters and rush mid-range. When Rudy Gobert drops into coverage, you can see the Warriors hesitate. That split-second pause is disrupting their rhythm, it's disrupting their flow, and it's ultimately messing up everything they want to do, the Warriors, that is, offensively.
And there's such a team that's predicated, as good as they're predicated on rhythm and flow. I mean, that's probably like Hustle and Flow would be, it's not just the name of a movie about a pimp that makes really good music. It could be the name of the Warriors season because that's what they're all about. And the Wolves, you're 100% right, have been a master at disrupting this flow, disrupting that hustle. Do you expect the Warriors to make that their game plan tonight, to make it a point to attack that paint since the threes aren't dropping? Like, we saw it from Jimmy Butler in Game 3. We've seen it at different times from Jonathan Kuminga, but do you expect the whole Warriors team in general to kind of start making a point to start attacking that paint with the threes not dropping?
Yeah, certainly. I do. I think the Warriors are a team that kind of hang their hat on stats that are really important to win basketball games. And I think one of those stats is the offensive rebounding battle, something that the Warriors did better than the Timberwolves throughout the regular season, something that they've continually done well throughout their dynasty.
And in the first half of the last game, they were dominating on the boards.
They certainly were. And to highlight Rudy Gobert again, I think what he's done controlling the defensive class is really important. He's eliminating second chance opportunities, and he's averaging over 10 rebounds per game. He might not give you 20 points. He might not give you, whatever it may be, but he's going to give you what Rudy Gobert does best, and that's defensively rebounding the ball, clearing out the Warriors' offensive rebounding opportunities.
Well, we've been talking about it multiple times throughout this playoff run, Parker, about how good it would be to see. I think everybody in the Target Center, we're all rooting for the Wolves as a team, but I don't think anybody's getting rooted for harder just as an individual than Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Like everyone here for every game throughout the playoffs is just like, we just want to breathe that sigh of relief. We want to see the ball go in for him because he's been such a good asset for this team. And it seemed like everything finally started to click for him a little bit in Game 4. 13 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. It was so good to see Nickeil Alexander-Walker back. And when he is playing at the level that that we're used to seeing him play, this Wolves team is operating at a whole different level.
Yeah, and I think we have to give him a little bit of grace. He's taken on some of the toughest perimeter defensive assignments. He's chasing guys like Buddy Hield and some of these Warriors guards through screens. He's the guy
Let's not forget this Warriors team is one of the best defensive teams in the NBA.
Yes.
I think because the Wolves are so talented, we're kind of taking that for granted here as Timberwolves fans. But this Warriors team, since Jimmy Butler got there, is number one in almost every defensive category.
And to speak on that, Max, Nikhil, his kind of go-to throughout his Timberwolves career has been capitalizing on open three-point shots. There's less of those now because this Warriors team is so dialed in defensively to what they want to do with their rotations. He's not as open for threes. And now, granted, he's an NBA player and he's got to make shots. Yes, I agree. And we saw that a little bit in Game 4. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I think we have to, be able to give Nikhil Alexander-Walker a little grace because you need guys like him in the playoffs.
100%.
High IQ, high effort, zero ego. He just makes winning plays.
100%, and he's been sixth man of the year-esque for the Wolves all season long. One of their most consistent players. So it's good to see Nikhil Alexander-Walker get back in rhythm, and hopefully he can stay in rhythm and help this Wolves team to a Game 5 win against the Golden State Warriors. And you got to expect this Warriors team to come out, just fists swinging, figuratively and maybe literally, depending on if it's Draymond Green. Shout out to my dog Charles walking by.
The GOAT.
He's one of the GOATs.
An OG right there.
OG of OGs. Shout out to my dog Charles. But you got to imagine they're going to come out swinging. And we've seen a variety of different versions of Jimmy Butler throughout this series. It's almost like his media day pictures, Like one of them is emo Jimmy, and then another one he's got the dreads on. We've seen all different kinds of Jimmys. Are you expecting to see a more of a Game 3 aggressive kind of take it into the paint, try to take this game over kind of Jimmy, or more of a Game 4/Game 2 Jimmy where he's more trying to be a facilitator and less aggressive? I was very odd to me. I get that he was battling an illness, so supposedly, which that's got to be incredibly hard to play when you're sick, man, right?
It just when you're sick and you're at home, it stinks.
Right.
And now go try to run up and down a basketball court 94 feet. It is not
the best of the best.
It's not easy, man. So you want to give guys a little bit of grace if they're truly sick and they're not feeling well. But you're right, Max. I think the Warriors need the best version of Jimmy Butler tonight. And what that version is, I don't know. It can depend on how well his teammates are shooting. It can depend on the flow of the game. Jimmy Butler is a high IQ basketball player. I expect him to make winning plays tonight. If that has to be him scoring, hey, maybe we see some sort of playoff vintage Jimmy Butler. Right. But if it needs to be playmaking, we might see the same. I think you're right, though, Maxwell. It's going to be a physical one. And when you have Draymond Green staring across from you on the other side, it's always going to be physical.
Right.
You're hoping it doesn't get cheap. But because we don't want any of that.
No, we don't want any of that.
But I would love to see a little physicality, a little fight from this Warriors team. Because I'll tell you one thing about this Minnesota Timberwolves team. When other teams fight, we don't step back.
No.
We always step forward and bring the fight to the other team. We have absolute dogs on our roster, and I'm hoping this thing gets physical, clean, but physical NBA playoff-style basketball tonight. I think we're in for an absolute beauty of a Game 5 tonight.
I do as well, and if you're listening right now, Draymond Green, beware of the dog.
It's a full moon. It's a full
moon, baby. And I'm fully expecting to be howling with joy after a Wolves win in Game 5. We got a couple more minutes here before we close out and hand things off to Al Horton and Cal Parker. But you got to imagine that the Warriors, again, they're going to come out doing their absolute best, trying everything that they can. And it seemed like they threw everything but the kitchen sink at Anthony Edwards defensively over this series. They even tried a little bit of a zone, kind of pseudo zone type defense. That's some degree of success with it. Do you expect them to kind of keep switching up the defensive looks?
Well, one highlight there on Anthony Edwards, quick. We've seen him wearing this orange wristband all year. It was given to him by a little boy who was diagnosed with cancer. He is cancer-free, and he is the building tonight. He is at Target Center tonight. Game 5.
I love that.
He's already sitting courtside. The Timberwolves have him up on their social.
Go.
Expect Anthony Edwards to have a little extra motivation on that sideline today. And how awesome of a guy is Ant.
Oh, man.
He told this kid that he was going to wear the wristband every game for the rest of his career. Not only has he worn it, but it's broken. It's ripped in several games, and he's clearly gotten new ones, or either, I don't even know, like super glued it together or something. But he's sticking to his word. And Luka,
how cool is that?
Cancer-free in the building tonight.
Man.
Another awesome reason for this Timberwolves team to get it done tonight.
Shout out to Luka, man, and shout out to Anthony Edwards for just being an all-around good dude, easy dude to root for. This whole team is a really easy team to root for, and they just seem like they're all in with each other, Parker. And we don't want to look too far into the future here, but the OKC Thunder are sitting one win away from the Western Conference Finals. You got the New York Knicks battling it out with the Boston Celtics right now, and you got the Pacers already having advanced, just absolutely smoking the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, if the Wolves can get this win tonight, this is as good of a landscape for the first championship as you could want, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you got two powerhouses completely out of the way, and either way, whether it's Denver or OKC, you're taking out one of the best teams in the Western Conference.
Yeah, it's going to be tough regardless, but I really love the way the Wolves have set themselves up for success. And you have to do that by winning basketball games. And yes, you're going to have to play another series, and we'll hopefully be right back in this cage and excited about that series. But ultimately, you have to take care of business tonight. And we highlighted it throughout this show, the importance of taking accountability, right? The importance of taking your structure and really putting it into what you want to do offensively, defensively, and on the special teams tonight. It has to be flawless because the Wolves have to find a way to get this one done tonight. Game 5 at Target Center, right around the corner.
All right, Parker, we only got about a minute left. Give us your predictions. Between the two of us, we've kind of been on fire with these score predictions.
Man, we're always hot, but we've been hot with the score predictions.
Super hot fire.
I think this Wolves team defensively does what they do again. I don't think the Warriors go past the century mark. I have the Warriors scoring 96 points, and I have the Minnesota Timberwolves getting hot on the offensive side of the ball. This thing gets a little dangerous. 124-96. Timberwolves in an absolute beat down right here in Minneapolis. Target Center.
Talk about it.
Game
Let them
5.
know.
Let's
Let
go
them
Wolves.
know.
What you got, Maxo?
I got a pretty similar one. I got 117-97. I'm expecting belts to butts once again. A 4th straight win for your Minnesota Timberwolves, and hopefully we're howling with joy after the game. Game 5, just a little over a half an hour away. You can hear the whole thing right here on FM 100.3 KFAN. Signing off for Parker Fox, I'm Max Fuller. This has been Howlin' with the Homies, presented by Youngstedts. We'll holla at you later. Peace.